I suppose have some games.
Hey guys, welcome back to Classic G Body Garage. Well, sitting here in front of me is my 1978 Cutlass Supreme Brougham. Now, a couple weeks ago, I posted the introduction of this car when it first arrived here at Classic G Body Garage, as well as the full detailed walk around as well. So I'll go ahead and post the playlist of this car within this video so you can check those out if you haven't done so already. But what I wanted to do in this video is basically tell you guys what I have planned for this car. Now, you know, from first glance, it does look like a nice car. It looks solid. Actually, it is very solid as far as the body goes. It does not have an engine, and also it does have full interior, so it is a relatively complete, solid car. Now, what you guys don't know is what lies underneath this car. Now, originally, this car did come from North Carolina. It does have the North Carolina registration sticker in the windshield from 1997. Now, when this car was brought up from North Carolina in 1997, it was brought up to the good old state of Ohio. And as many of you guys know, in the Northeast, we get a whole hell of a lot of snow. And with that snow comes a whole lot of salt that the city throws on the road to melt the snow, and so we all don't get in accidents. So what happens to these cars that have been a virgin to any type of snow, salt, whatever it might be, you know, there's nothing but bare metal left on these cars underneath, because they've been driven in the southern or western states or wherever they came from and sandblasted from the road grime and whatever, and then they come up north here and people drive them in the salt and the snow, and there's nothing but bare metal that is subjected to all that nastiness. So what happens to these cars over time? Well, guess what? These cars are very prone for the rear frame rails to rot out. I mean, even if they're undercoated from the factory. Now, a non-undercoated car from the Carolinas comes up here to the Northeast and gets driven in the snow and then sits. Well, guess what happens? The frame rails rot. And I'll show you guys exactly what happens to these cars over time to the frame rails. There you go. There's the rear frame rail. Looks all nice and solid, doesn't it? All nice and clean until you get to the very back of it. And there you can see the rotted holes that are in the frame right there. So that's what happens to these frames. They start to crumble and fall apart, and there's really not much left but to either replace the frame rails or replace the entire frame itself. Let me show you guys the other side. Is actually worse. On the driver's side, here you go, and that my camera has adjusted, you can see there's the bumper shock. There's what the frame looks like, all completely rotted out. Big holes, big gaping holes. You can see the actual bumper shock right there, and there's right where it bolts. There's another hole up front, and then there's another hole as well. So this side is a lot worse than the passenger side, but you can see how bad the frame rails really get. And the cars that are subjected to the Northeast for a lot longer than this one has, there is absolutely nothing left of the frames on these cars, and these cars have long since gone to the junkyard. So needless to say, this car is going to end up being my next parts car. Now, I do have the 1980 Cutlass parts car sitting right here. That car is going to get parted out, and the 78 Cutlass Supreme Brougham is also getting parted out. Now, my original 78 parts car was also white, so I guess, you know, if I got to have a parts car, it's got to be white, right? Let me open up the door here, and I'll show you guys also another reason why I'm parting this car out. Let me stick my hand underneath the floor. and you can see what is going on with the floorboards. Sticking my hand right through the floorboard right there. So pushing the carpet up, same goes with the driver's side. There's nothing left of the floorboards on this car, and even the rear floorboards are rotted out as well. So, you know, considering this car does have a very clean body as far as the quarter panels go, and the rear inner wells, they're very, very clean. But unfortunately, the floorboards and the rear frame rails are rotted out on this car, so it is going to be parted out. So if you guys need parts, shoot me a note, shoot me a message, and I'll hook you guys up. All right, guys, well, go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and leave a comment, and I will talk to you in the next video.